screen shares.
You're live.
Hey, it's working. I'm looking at myself on the screen, so that's why I'm not looking at the camera. Do you want to read the comments to me, or should I have it up on my phone as well?
Whichever you want to do.
Peace, everybody. Welcome back to Rise of the Moors. I'm always excited.
He said peace, noble.
Oh, peace. Peace. And I'm always excited when we're doing videos because I feel like we're helping.
You need to talk to me, gente.
I feel like we're helping. I feel like, a lot of the things we say, other Moors are thinking. It's just shut up, self. It's just we may have the platform to say it. You know what I mean? Especially when we traveled to Chicago and when we went to Delaware. Where else did we go? When I went to Florida. Just us traveling in general and speaking to Moors. We all basically feel the same thing.
New York and Delaware.
Oh yeah, up in New York. We kind of already started, but formally this is a Q&A. So either you're going to ask questions and I'm going to answer them, or I'm going to run my mouth until you ask questions. So someone said, come to Khalifa. If I'm booked, I will go. All one would have to do to get me anywhere, basically, is pay for my travels so that I'm not going broke traveling places. Because it shouldn't cost me to go somewhere where people want me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you ask Jay-Z to perform in Rhode Island, you would pay him. He wouldn't pay you.
How many people do you have over there?
True.
Because
that doesn't matter. If my travels are paid for, then it doesn't matter how many people I'm preaching. I don't care.
I know, but imagine the love that they could feel coming here. True. All our people.
True. That's why when we went to Chicago, the sister should be here. I was like, so this is one of the things that a lot of the Moors are thinking, especially a lot of the Moors, the active Moors that we speak to. Mm-hmm. They say the information that we have is right. Mm-hmm. And it works to an extent.
Yep.
We're just waiting on the people. Mm-hmm. It's always, every group that we go to, it's always we're waiting on people to wake up.
Yeah.
So how about we just make a Moorish town?
Yep.
And other Moors think that. That's not like Jamal's great idea. Mm-hmm. Other Moors been thinking that. Mm-hmm. Some Moors have been saying it. It's just I don't really see them saying it on camera.
Yeah.
Which if we had a Moorish town.
And that's definitely our goal. Because when you went to Chicago, you found out that we have enough people to be a grand body.
Yep.
We just need to continue to work on that so we can.
So imagine, right? There's a grand body here, and then says Narragansett territory extends through all of Connecticut, all of Massachusetts up to Maine. Then each other body would be subordinate to the main body.
Yeah.
But we'd all be part of that. So it wouldn't be no separate nothing.
Yeah.
It would be, this is the hub. Okay, these are those folks.
Yeah.
Which every Moor desires that.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we woke up, we was like, where the heck is the Moor Science Temple here? Because we need it. We know we need it. So where is it? But a lot of the people don't realize, like, you are the temple. Mm-hmm. So come help us.
Somebody said, but we need the knowledge to spread out here because the West Coast is full of sleep Moors.
So now look.
I have 10 count.
Now look. That's great, right? The prophet said, and when he talked about magistrate and subject, how the glory of the king, the welfare of the people, and how he employeth new colonies. Mm-hmm. That means there's a pool in one area, and they have so much that they can extend to other areas. Mm-hmm. That's what that means. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make sense for us to keep being
spread out,
so dispersed, because we need to get the word out there. Yep. The word will get out there faster when we have more success as a people.
Yeah.
Because McDonald's didn't just, McDonald's started food, but
they started
McDonald's didn't just they didn't start off by being everywhere. They started off by being great in this one area. Mm-hmm. Then what did they do? They made it a branch. Yeah. Then that was great. Then they had enough fiat from both McDonald's to make a third one. Mm-hmm. Then enough from the three to make a fourth one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So how about we just all pool our Moorish energy, because the best resource is human resource, not fiat. It's the human resource, the human body. The best resource is that. So if we pool all of that spiritual divine energy in one spot, and we go to City Hall, we say, hey, This is just me running my mouth, right? Okay, city council, we're the Moors in this area, you know, native, Aboriginal, indigenous, you know, because we all know this, right? Those buildings are abandoned. We're going to be in there. So put this on your records that, you know, this belongs to the Moors of this area so that your policy enforcers know not to come in this jurisdiction because it's not their jurisdiction.
Yep.
What if 100 Moors did that? Now you're dealing with something where it doesn't require any violence. The women and children are safe. Now we can have community centers for our children. We can have, you know, hospitals for the women, because most women, when they talk about the birth certificate, well, how do we have children without putting a birth certificate on them? We get back to our roots. Either you do a home birth or you have the, what's it called, a doula? A doula. Oh, a doula, right? You get one of those, but what if we just had a center for that? So now the doulas are getting paid to do that, and that's all they do since they love to do it. And since we have own commerce in this Moorish town, we just cycle in energy. What are you talking about when Juju was selling her food and how the money was cycling?
Oh yeah, it was crazy because like Moors would purchase your book.
Yep.
And then you would provide some to me for doing administration work and shipping fee. And then I would buy Juju's food, her Moorish food. And then with Juju's Moorish food, she would go buy, you know,
the money from the food.
She would circulate it even more to another Moor, Gracia, and buy some of Gracio's products.
So now what you're talking about, which all these conscious people talk about,
we kept the money. Dollar. Yeah, we kept the money in our circle, not even in our group of friends, because we're all, you know, entrepreneur minded. We kept the dollar within our group of friends, and we were able to provide each other with what we needed by passing. What we could have did that with seashells, like anything we wanted. Well, since most of us in our group have silver, we could have done that with silver certificates. which again, a lot of these woke people talk about the power of the black dollar, but they're never doing it, and they never say black town or Moorish town. Come down here, because like a lot of this stuff isn't going to be you're so rich. It's going to be we have control of our own fiat, whether silver certificates or actual silver money in our own community. What's better than that? I'll wait. Somebody said exactly.
See, other Moors already did it.
Yeah.
So now all we got to do is reach out to those Moors and say, we're forming a body here. Help us solidify that body.
Do you want to start reading through the comments?
Oh, yeah.
If you guys want to pop off your questions. It's a Q&A, Jamal.
Oh, yeah, right. Kuma Khalifa, right? Peace and love, peace from Florida, peace. Peace and love. All the books, all the emojis. Do you know the Moorish history of Philadelphia? I know some, but I'm not there, so I don't know a lot. I know that they say whatever happens there happens everywhere in the world. That's why it was the capital here in the Barbary States, or the United States of America, which is same. The last video titled Caveat Emptor. What happened there? Oh, all the Europeans were trying to adjudicate on a Moor with no jurisdiction. So the Moor at the time didn't know as much because he was studying. And we already know that when we're studying this, the Europeans don't stop their corruption. So he got snatched up in some BS. So I was pretty much trying to do what I could to help the Moor in that situation, because he had got kidnapped a few days before, and when they brought him into the room, you could see his spirit was like low. And then he seen us with the feathers on, and he got like, you know, his spirit got up. But then they brought him to a different room, and then they brought him back in, and I see that we had lifted his spirit by being there, us supporting him. But then since it got moved to a different court room in the same building because they're corrupt, his energy was still low. And at the time, we kind of felt defeated. We had a conversation how, you know, we can't necessarily do anything right now because there's literally armed guards in this building. They kidnapped this person, and we're outnumbered. And so we kind of
trying to put their hands on us too.
Yeah, because we always approach peacefully, and then they try to surround us and scare us forward. I was in the military, so that scare tactics don't work no more. But they still try it. So
and the crazy thing is, I don't think any one of us really like has fear that we're actually going to get harmed. We might get touched and ruffled up.
Yeah, but even then, because in the video, you know, it seems like it was rough because they put the handcuffs on me and I tore my phone, but they were very gentle.
Yeah.
And then the people that were in the courtroom said the policy enforcers were tripping over each other, and I wasn't even moving. So they're messed up. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like and you got let go.
Literally 10 minutes later. Not even 20, like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. So it took me 20 minutes to get back there.
Yeah. So basically, I was trying to help them more by putting something on the record, so at least some type of competent verbiage is on the record.
Yeah.
Because he was trying his best, but when I don't know how many people have been up there in a courtroom full of Europeans when they're attacking him.
He was barking on top of him.
Yeah. So it's not easy to get competent words across to these people out here because there's a lot of Europeans out here. They basically run everything out here. And a lot of our people have been in the system for so long that they're afraid of the Europeans. So when they do get up there, it's hard for them to get words out. So what I did was, in a way, I knew they were going to take me, but I knew that once they put me in the cell, at least I can speak to him to lift his spirit back up. So I went up there, and then that's when the video starts. I was telling the magistrate, he was shook. I was just speaking to him, and he was afraid. And he kept silent and let the minions of the dirty word, so the so-called sheriffs, those are the one that was saying, the violating city ordinance, blah, 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 blah. We're going to charge you with this, charge you with that. Then they took me in the back. Then they brought the Moor out in the back with me, and we were in the elevator like this. And there was like 15 policy enforcers for just 2 Moors. And I'm like, you know what?
Can't even fit in the elevator.
Yeah, for no reason. I'm like, just stay on the square. You ain't doing anything wrong. Don't let these people violate you, and don't give them jurisdiction. So in that moment, that Moor had the courage to keep fighting, and that's really what that was about. They let me out. Like 10 minutes later, they said, "This is how they try to play it." They said, "Well, the judge is being kind, and he's not going to charge you with anything. But if that was anyone else, guaranteed they would have got charged with disorderly obstruction of justice, all this BS."
Yeah.
But since I know something and I can articulate it clearly, they're not having that on the record. They're not having that in front of nobody. They're not having that knowing how deep.
They're going to pretend it never happened. And that's exactly what happened.
That's what happened on the video.
Somebody said, can you recommend any books for the origin of troglodytes and Moorish Renaissance?
Origin of troglodytes. You can look up, what was it, the book in the Bible about Jacob and Esau, I think? When they talk about grafting the cattle and keeping getting rid of the fair skin because they're dying of leprosy, which is skin cancer. You can get books about the Renaissance, literally anything about Spain. Literally, like you can't avoid it.
The Borgias.
Yeah, the Borgias on Netflix. Talk about that.
There's an episode called The Moor.
The Moor, yeah, and this
season 1, episode 2.
Yeah, and they talk about the Turks as well. And then the Pope Rome also talks about the Inquisition against the Moors and the so-called Jews.
A Moor from Morocco, they murdered.
Yep. Literally anything about Spain, and a lot of the history that you read about America, when they lie and say that they discovered it, and they talk about the Native Americans, like the Aztecs, they bring up Spain, and they bring up how the Moors were defeated in Spain. So everything, you can just find it in Spain. I mean, not everything, but you can also get Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinan's book, Africa, the Mother of Western Civilization. He talks about the Moors and the Renaissance. You can get George G.M. James' book, what is it? Stolen Legacy, how Greek philosophy is really Egyptian or Kemetic science. That's the book by George G.M. James, Stolen Legacy. That talks about the Renaissance and how Moors were the preservers of Egyptian mystery systems and how we spread it to the world. You can get The Moor, the Mason, and the Alien. I forgot his name, who wrote it, but it's called The Moor, the Mason, and the Alien. You can get When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler. You can get They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. You can get The Golden Age of the Moor by Ivan Van Sertima. They talk about the Renaissance and how we had Europeans as slaves. You can get Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers and 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. Also, some of
the books on our website too.
Oh yeah,
riseandmoors.org.
Oh yeah, our website.
We have 4 of Cujo's books up there.
Yeah,
Yep. 100 amazing facts about the Moors.
Oh man, yeah. You can go to riseofmoors.org, go to products, go to books. We got a bunch of books on there. Mm-hmm. There's also one more. Who's the not Farad Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, for the Nation of Islam? He has a book about how the Europeans were grafted. Mm-hmm. So you can get that to learn that they're monkeys. Also, there's a dissertation that Kimberly Philemon Clark wrote in 2009 to get her master's in arts and science. Her name is Kimberly Philemon Clark. Philomen, Phlilomen Clark. In 2009, she talked about how the Europeans are hybrids and they're proud to have survived with man because they're hybrids.
Somebody wrote, where can I go to look up how to properly start a trust and how to conduct an allodial title on land?
Oh, you can go to riseofmoors.org, go to products, click on books, then click on Jural Society and Trust Law. I talk about trust law, how to create a trust, what a trust is, and I have a template there. Also, in the e-learning section under products, there's a Trust Law 101 class that I also go into more detail about, which also has additional information about how to create a trust and things to study.
It has links directly to the source, so you just click on it and it'll bring up so you can read along with class.
Yep. Also, we're working, I don't know if this is too soon, but we're going to do it. We're working on the Trust Law 102 that we're going to be posting on the website, and it's going to go into securitizing a trust, securitizing your assets, how to have your own homeowners insurance, how to have your own car insurance, all of that kind of stuff. How to secure your assets, what a bond is, how to be a secured party creditor without using any UCC anything. Because when you read the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, it says no obligation shall be placed on contracts. Then when you read Article 6 of the treaty, the Constitution talks about treaties. Then when you read Article 17 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, it talks about how merchants have the right to buy and sell, which now you're dealing with trust and you're dealing with contracts and you're dealing with commerce. Then when you read Article 20 of the Declaration on Human Rights, it says no one may be compelled to belong to association, so you don't have to belong to anywhere to do any type of commerce, meaning you don't have to register anything with any so-called state. You don't have to get a 98 EIN, anything, which all of this goes into detail in not only the Trust Law book that I have, but the lecture, Trust Law 101, and then Trust Law 102. It's basically everything.
Yeah. It really is.
You get on riseofmoors.org.
And we're going to be doing a lot more e-learning classes.
Specifically about commerce.
Yep. Because people have been asking for PDFs and sources and stuff. They want more of a e-learning experience during our lives. So we're going to provide that on the website.
Someone said any recorded proof for tribunals that proves Canada is under the United States other than confederations. You'd have to ask Grinchi Cujo about that. The Articles of Confederation is part of the Constitution. So to ask for anything else is kind of silly. You know what I mean? Like, can you prove that this is a chair besides it being a chair? Not really, because it's a chair. Because if you read, again, Article 6 of the Constitution, it says all contracts and prior engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be valid against the United States as under the Confederation. So if you reference the Articles of Confederation, you're talking about the Constitution. So that's really all you need. You don't really need anything else. The issue is that these people are corrupt. So again, having a Moorish town or Moorish state or Moorish anything, block at least, would alleviate a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Because it's from reading it, it sounds like it's because they asked proof for tribunals to prove something. So now you're having an argument in court where they're just not accepting it because they have a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
And they can say no. You know what I'm saying? Great questions. Where did I write that one? Do you have an update on the quitclaim you performed a few years back? Did you acquire that property? Yes, that quitclaim is me acquiring the property. The issue is, again, a Moorish town. Because the Prophet said that Grand Sheikhs were empowered to create and enforce law. How do you enforce law with no people?
Somebody said, "Yep."
So when these Europeans, so let's just talk. This is along the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
When more talk about leaning people, lean, right?
How do you reinforce that lean?
You're jumping way ahead.
Okay.
But that's a simple question that will knock down 90% of these Morris arguments. Mm-hmm. Lean, right? So when we get fraudulently arrested by these Europeans and we don't show up, they issue a bond or a warrant, which is what? A lien. Mm-hmm. Then if we don't show up again, what do? They enforce that lien by what? Arresting you, mm-hmm. them physically taking you and bringing you. Yeah. So if we have a Morris town here and we say, well, in this past week, 5 more has been arrested for nothing. Instead of filing paperwork, we'll just all 100 of us mm-hmm. go to federal court and say, what's the problem? Mm-hmm. Because now you're
leaning.
Yes.
Creating pressure.
Yes. Because now by doing that, you're committing genocide because you're targeting a nation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that 100 people saying mm-hmm. that one thing is what exactly these Europeans don't want.
And if we all lived in a community together,
yes, you're right.
How are you going to come get any of us?
Exactly. So what I should have said was all of us in one area saying that one thing is exactly what they don't want. Mm-hmm. Because right now we're all saying the same thing, but we're spread out. Mm-hmm. Meaning, like in the movie 300, right? Mm-hmm. So-called Spartans, which is really based on Moors. Mm-hmm. When you read Gomez of the Moor, it says that. Yep. There was 300 of them against the Persian Empire, which is Moorish. Mm-hmm. So they funneled them into this one space where they said their numbers would count for nothing. Mm-hmm. So if 100 Moors go to City Hall, there's not a lot of people in City Hall. Mm-hmm. Their numbers mean crap. Mm-hmm. But we want to be so jurisprudence mindset that we miss obvious common sense things.
And that's exactly what happened when we showed up to court with Tuzo.
They were shook. They wanted us out of there so bad.
30
they called recess twice, and then they turned the AC up, knowing Asiatics hate AC.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, the time after that, they locked the doors because they didn't want any more of us coming in.
and then, remember when we went to that little room? Mm-hmm. They went in there. It was like, "Is the defendant in here?" Mm-hmm. Smiling and stuff. Yeah. No one knew who he was, and we was like, "Nah, he's not in here." And then they left. Mm-hmm. So like to everyone else, they're playing the game. Mm-hmm. So on the outside, it looks like, oh, they're in trouble. Yeah. But then when it comes to the real deal, they're like, "Is there a defendant in here?" Mm-hmm. And I'm looking right at you, right? And then I say, "Are you in here? Are you in this room?" And I'm looking at you,
and
right?
Everybody says no.
Nah, she's not in this room.
Nope.
All right, and then they leave.
Okay.
Like, come on. Because in that situation, we're in a room like this. There was a bunch of us, and there was a narrow opening where their numbers meant nothing. Mm-hmm. So again, in a Moorish town. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you got to come through that narrow opening to a room full of Moors.
Good luck.
Somebody said, "Are you still working with the counselor courts?"
Yes, I am.
Facts.
Is it okay to operate with the EIN? You have the right to contract. How does one put a lien on the bill of particulars? That's too general. Oh yeah, by the way, if you don't know, we're in the so-called State of Rhode Island territory. If you'd like to, well, it's not really territory because territory means land. State of Rhode Island is a corporation. It's called the Narragansett Territory. Nahiganset, sometimes spelled with 2 T's. Narragansett. Europeans corrupted it, called Narragansett. This is where the tribe of Indians come into play, where they admit that they're a Rhode Island corporation, but then some of the chiefs lie, say that they're not, but then they have buildings with their names on it, and then they got endorsements and letters from the de facto government. So we're not that. We're the Moors of the land. Narragansett Territory, not blah, 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 Rhode Island Corporation. Yep. So-called Rhode Island. Let me see. I have a bunch of videos dealing with the topics at hand. If you guys need anything, great. How about instead of having PDFs, you come down here, domicile down here, inhabit these lands, and then you be part of Rising Moors, so that we have another lecturer on the platform, so people are getting Moorish information from a different perspective. Because when you read the Quran, it says every person has their own measure of wisdom. So you might see the PDFs you have different than how I'll view them. So just come down here, inhabit these lands, and then you get to be on this platform and teach.
And a new voice
adds to our body.
Gives a new perspective and helps a new person learn that, You say something different, and something might click.
Basically, here at Rise of the Moors, we're trying to put you on. Yeah. So if you got something to offer our people, and our people, so if you have something to supply and our people are demanding it, we're trying to help facilitate that because that's what we're missing.
We've been struggling trying to get people to like
do class,
do commerce, we have to break the mentality that we have and live a free life and actually live to your potential.
Oh, does anyone know any case I can look up to learn more on the mortgage debt pledge subject? If you go to findcaselaw.com, and you click on like the federal stuff, you can literally control search and put things in, and then that's how you study. Like it just takes it takes a lot of work, but a lot of times you can't just ask if someone has the information. You have to actually go out and get it, because once the universe sees that you're putting in the work, then she'll make it easier where she might present someone who has the information, just give it to you. But you have to put in the initial effort, because Cave emptor, save yourself.
What do you guys want to see us speak more on with e-learning classes? That's what I want to know.
Great question, but before that, I like it when people say thank you.
Yes.
Like they ask a question, I answer it, they say thank you. And then they keep moving. They're not whatever. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but once the people start doing like what we're doing, then they get to see all the backlash and the people being rude and the
people thinking we're not human beings and they own us.
Yeah, demanding and like, well, you should how about stop telling me what to do and help us do what we're doing here. And, like take responsibility, help us what we're doing. That kind of sounds like the prophet. Help us on a great missionary work. Uplift all humanity. I know. Stop telling us what to do and help fill this void.
Somebody said exactly.
Because a lot of people don't really know that they're a value. Maybe because, they may have grown up where they felt like they weren't a value, so they don't have that in them yet, but it's in there somewhere. Like a lot of our people have these skills that are such a value and they don't even know it. Especially if they try to compare it to what someone else is doing. Like if I compare what I'm doing to what you're doing, I feel like what I'm doing ain't nothing. Administrative work is a lot of work. I'm just sitting here talking.
It's a lot of creativity too. People don't realize that, because I'm literally making things from scratch. Somebody said, can you talk more about business?
More about business.
I have a business plan, a template. So, go from sitting on the couch and having an idea with your boys and put some power behind. Yeah. Do it. Actually do it. It takes persistence. You don't have to be the best.
Can I add into this business thing? Because you specifically talked about talking on the couch with your boys. A lot of our building sessions is us passing around some weed, sitting down, talking about ideas. Nothing ever gets implemented.
Write it down.
In order to kind of alleviate that, get a woman that'll kick you in the butt and keep you on track. Because a lot of doing business with a bunch of men just doesn't work.
No.
And I know
functionally,
No. Business period. Don't say functionally. Period. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Let's be serious.
No, it's funny because I'm thinking about you were literally in an environment with a bunch of guys.
And I was telling them,
and one woman, listen, and look what we've done.
I was giving them my law books. Like, yes, you can have this. And then I seen how they valued it. They piled something on it. So I was like, all right, take it back. Because if you're not going to use this, because a lot of people were telling me when I first started this stuff, I'm not even looking at the camera, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Like when I first started this stuff, a lot of people were saying, no one's going to listen to you because you don't have enough money. I'm like, what does money have to do with any of this?
Yeah.
Like,
they said no one's going to listen to you because you don't have enough money.
Like someone like Jay-Z, like if Jay-Z says something, people will listen to him because he has money.
What? Our people really need to change our reality.
Actually, I just want to remind you we're closing in like half an hour.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. A lot of people need to change their mentality because that changes your reality. They told you nobody's going to listen because you don't have money. I told you, yes, I can help you. I see your dream. Let's do it.
And then despite all the
obstacles.
I wouldn't say debates, but arguments, gaining clarity through facts that just happen to be heated because I'm an Aries. Despite all of that, I remember you specifically saying, Jamal, I told you I'm going to support you, and I told you I would not abandon you no matter what. And that's very important because as soon as things get rough, people just be like, well, time to move on to this other dream that's not going to work. But they don't say it that way. They just say, oh, I have more ideas.
And you know what? That's actually a true thing in business. If you listen to Dan Locke, L-O-K, if he started a bunch of businesses and it didn't take a bunch of business, he just needed to stay consistent with one. And back when nobody was watching the videos, I told you consistency is what's going to change this. And we kept doing it faithfully, same time, same day, every week, and people showed up. I know, but consistency.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a dream, don't abandon it. Go to riseandmoors.org and get that business plan.
No, hold on. Exactly, but
and write it down and stay consistent and follow it.
I almost said your name. Listen, Naimira, right? Your favorite name that you don't want me to expose. Right?
Nah, because I don't want it to be like Amanda. Everybody have Naimira.
I'll just call you Amanda. Amanda, listen. People can not only see riseandmoors.org, but they can go to the YouTube and see I literally started from the bottom of my mother's basement doing this. And now look at what we've accomplished together. Because you stuck by my side, you haven't given up on me, and I haven't given up on you. You know what I'm saying? Now back to the more like that's business, but that's more like I feel like that's an emotional side of business. That people. But
that's the side of business that people don't. They expect it to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to happen right away. It didn't happen tomorrow. I did this and I didn't get this result. There's a lot of things we do for Rise of the Moors that it's a
long-term investment.
Yep.
It's not like get fiat now. It's I'm going to invest in this now because it's going to help us later.
Have the faith and the value that you're putting out there.
Yes, and then I'm not sure if I said this on this one, but on the Facebook, I was talking about how about like at Rise of the Moors, we built credit with the people because credit is your reputation, not just 700, 800 score these Europeans made. Your credit is your credibility with the people. We built that to a certain extent. So now what we offer is a platform. If Rise of the Moors has 5,000 subscribers on YouTube and we have a website and we're selling things on the website, we have that. So now you creating hats, you want to sell your hats, but you don't have the platform, you need to go to someone with credit to be able to push that or host it. That's what we provide.
Because we're trying to help people build business.
Yes. But,
you want to talk about the issues?
Yes, but people don't realize they have complete control when they do that. Because we're working for you. You're not working for us. Because it's your business. If you want to sell hats and you only want to make 10 hats and you're selling each hat for $1, then you're only making $10. Unless in the contract it says we get 10%. Now you only get $9. You know what I'm saying? But it's all up to how much you produce those hats. Just like up to me, if I want to sell books, I have to make the books. I have to put the initial investment in making the actual book. Then once all that energy, which is draining, all right, I drain myself writing the book. Then I have to drain myself paying for the book because I have to make sure it gets printed. Then I have to sell the book, right? But after that part, selling the book, it's all then based on how much more energy I want to put into it, meaning buying more books or creating more books. So now I'm literally working for myself because we built a credit line with the people. So now they know the information that they get at Rise of the Moors is credible now. So they're going to go to that source. Same thing with shirts. But some people think that we're trying to monopolize their business. No, we're providing. It's kind of like
we're providing an audience for us to help it survive.
But more because a lot of people, when they think business, they have to think physically. So you know, like a mall. All those stores, that's just a one-stop shop for all these different platforms, which virtually that's what we have. But people don't see that because it's not physical. Like Sprint is not going to not go to Providence Place Mall because we're Sprint, we want our own store. They're smart. They know Providence Place Mall has the credit because it's called Providence Place Mall. Most people in Providence go to Providence Place Mall. They got the hype, they got the traffic, they got the commerce. So let's go there. But for some reason, our people are missing that.
Because we have an unhealthy relationship with business, with commerce.
But listen,
with contracts.
But listen.
And that's what we're trying to help people out of.
But listen, with Rising Amours, we teach them how to contract.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're offering them a contract. So it's not like they can be fooled. Because we're showing you unbiasedly how to contract with people because we begin screwed.
Oh, you know, the other thing, we get a flood of emails with ideas.
Yeah.
Come to us with a business, not an idea. We need a business that we can support. Not, I can't start it for you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help it, support it, get some
grow,
traffic,
flourish.
Grow. So if you want, you can start your own platform, your own website, your own, you know, but actually have a business together.
It's literally instead of going to someone for a loan, you're creating your own fiat with our website, which is now that's your own loan. All you're doing is getting to a contract with us, saying you're gonna, because the contract we send the same contract to everyone. Yep. You're gonna create your own product at your own pace. Yep. And then you choose the percentage of how much we get. Yep. But if we're selling your product for you, then we get a higher percentage. But if you're doing all the work and we're just the spot, the credit line, so you get most of the
basically we're saying, you know, come to us with whatever you want to sell.
We're saying we will work for you. Tell us how. But people aren't seeing it like that. It's wild. Wild.
And it's literally in the contract. You read through the whole thing. You get as much out of it as you put in. Because you literally tell us when you want to get paid, what percentage you want to give us, how, you know, how many products you have to sell. I don't care if it's 2.
That's how much you want to sell.
If you just want to put 2 out there to get your name on the platform, then, you know.
We've even offered other things, like if you want, put a quick description about yourself so that people know who they're buying it from.
Yep.
So if you want it, right? This is what people are missing. If you want it, you could put something about you in Rising Amours, and then once your platform is built on Rising Amours, you can leave Rising Amours with the buzz you built there with your loyal customers, and then go somewhere else.
Perfect example of this. We have some of Cujo's books on the website. The link to where you could buy his books from him is up there.
Yep.
We're sending traffic back to his website.
Yep. So if you don't have a website now, come to Rising Amours, get your fiat up so you can pay for a website. You know, and you can stay with Rising Amours, but then you can also have your other website. And then if the time permits, whatever contract we get into, and it says we can negotiate this contract, then we can put a link to your website if that's in the contract, if that's what we all agree to.
Then all contracts are negotiable. So it says in the contract, if you don't want to do business with us anymore, give us a 30-day notice.
Yep.
You know?
So if we have your product, right, we need a 30-day notice to send it back to you.
Yep.
Like, it's that simple. Or if you want it, you can say, you know what, just sell the rest or whatever. It's all up to you.
It's, like, the contract is very open and
but
negotiable.
Here's the thing. That makes them the secured party creditor, but they're not getting it. Like, I don't know what it is they're missing.
Well, I think it's fear and
yeah, but in that situation, they're the secured party.
I know, but
so there should be no fear.
It's fear, and it's something that they're not used to.
True.
Because we got a special kind of mind to be doing what we're doing. we got a couple more minutes because we got to pack up after this.
Yeah, it says, someone said, why does it seem like we're still striving to be like Europeans? I don't understand. I don't see what Rising Amours.
We're just trying to create Moorish business.
Yeah, but out of that, I don't see how that's kind of being like Europeans. That's where you're missing me.
Somebody said Europeans got this from us.
They did. So I don't see how we're trying to be like them if they got it from us. That doesn't make sense to me.
All right.
Yeah, so again, we're at a public space. So they're kicking us out. They're not kicking us out. They close at 6. We have to leave.
If you want more of these, you know,
support.
Say so. Say so in the comment section.
Yeah. Also, if you want more of these, move down here.
Yeah, we do this all the time.
We do this all the time. We were talking about this on the way to do this.
And then 2 hours before we were doing this.
We don't stop talking about how
we gonna help.
Could be doing.
Yeah.
Even on the breaks, like, we give ourselves some breaks. Like, we're taking a break from some of the stuff. During those breaks, we talk about what we could be doing after the break. So we never stop talking about how we can better ourselves and what avenues to take and why we shouldn't take those avenues and why staying on a certain path is the better way and why not to just go ahead and go through the system to get something because then they can just remove it from under our feet. So we always talk about these great ideas and conversations, but beyond that, we implement them. And if you don't believe us, go to Rise of the Moors on YouTube and see where we started and see where we are right now. And then you tell me if what we're doing is working or not. And then you tell me if you think you should move out here or not. Don't listen to what I say. Check the record. Check the history. Check the numbers.
All right, you want to sign out?
I don't want to sign out. The people know I don't want to sign out. Let me see. Y'all are refreshing. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Somebody asked if we're from California. We're in the Narragansett Territory, fraudulently called Rhode Island.
We're on the East Coast. So on camera, I'm looking at my phone to read the comments. So don't much love. Peace. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah, when someone said, we're trying to be like Europeans, and the other person talked about how they learn from us, read The Moor, the Mason, and the Alien, and they'll show you how not only did we teach the Europeans, which they tell you in the so-called Indian story, that is true, we did teach them, but our empire had everything on lock. Everything that the Europeans have now was administratively administered by us. So the reason why they're the master of the 7 seas is because they took our spot. Even the word marine, which I was a Marine, 7 belt loops, 7 seas. They control the seas with the 7th fleet. All that is Moorish. Ain't none of that European.
Yep. And
even their uniforms.
If we keep being afraid of this commerce and interaction, we're gonna stay in this submissive place.
Yeah, just like the prophet said, go to those who know law in the city hall. I mean, you have to actually go there. You can't just write letters. You have to actually go speak with these people, and you'll see. It's not funny, but it is funny. A lot of these people aren't competent. And if you come down here, if you move down here and speak with the Moors out here, the reason why, never mind, I'll refrain from that. If you talk to some of these Moors out here and ask them about their experience with City Hall and being around us and going to court with us, they will tell you a lot of these people in so-called government are incompetent. And if you go to your own City Hall where you at, you'll see the same thing. And you'll see some of them are friendly, some of them actually want to help, some of them are really concerned, like, how come you can't find these documents that you're looking for? And then other people just give you attitude like, we don't have that, because they know what's up. But if there's a lot of us here asking for the same thing, they can't keep doing that. So I'd like to close on that. If you got race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is a field open to all strong men and women. Together we stand, divided we fall. Where there is unity, there is strength. Come, relocate if you got the means to do so. Come domicile down here. Let's hit the ground running. If you trust us, if you like any of the information that we present and would like to see us move forward, like I said, the best thing you can do for us is be a human resource with us, not for us, with us. Fiat is cool and everything, but if we don't have the actual human resources, which every business has a human resources department, even government, right? If we don't have human resources to get things done, nothing will happen. Because it's not Rise of the Moors that's going to do anything. It's the people who are part of Rise of the Moors that's going to do something. Because Rise of the Moors was created by 2 people. Those 2 people need to do something. Does that make sense? Hope people are tracking, because a lot of people think, oh, the temple's supposed to do that. The temple can't do anything. The people of the temple are the ones that do things. So if you want to be a mover and shaker and a heartbreaker, trying to rhyme more words. But anyway, move down here. It's not always business and it's not always jokes. We try to mix it. Just if you feel the energy, if you feel the love, why not want to feel that all the time? We gonna do that?
We gotta go.
Again, she's taking me away from y'all.
Oh my God.
It's all her. We'll try to do more Q&As. Oh, also, class is about to start back up again. Besides the e-learning classes, we're actually going to be doing the live classes again that everyone, well, I love. No, I don't care if y'all love it. I love it. But yeah, we'll be back. So yeah, if you want to move out here, go to any Zillows, it's Zillow.com, I think. There's Google apartments or houses in Socorro, Rhode Island. Look at the prices; they're cheap AF. Make it happen, Captain. Peace. Still live? I am.
So when I end things, it don't end.
We're having technical difficulties. So since we're still going.
No.
See,
Are
look.
You sure you want to end stream? Yes.
Look, the ethers don't want us to.
Damn it. It took like 3 times.